just mentioned, let me know if you have managed to get to the classroom and download. It would be better if you download it on a laptop and open it in Microsoft Word. All right, because I'm going to need to use we're going to need to use the draw feature in Microsoft Word. So try and open that on your computers for me. All right. Ooh. Why is my computer doing? All right, let me know if you have the document open. Got document. Lesson 1, computer network. Why do people them look so tired? What is wrong with you now? That why your face looks so? Listen, I'm gonna come take out your problem pan way up here, you know.
I'm gonna take out the problem photos there. Whenever I ever done that, like,
It just
the
look
fact that we
burnt
can't
down,
see right
so.
now. Where's my
Yeah.
glasses?
Just look like you can't bother. Like everybody has stressed you all week and you just
I
can't
said,
bother.
wake up too early for pan a session. It don't make no sense.
Oh, listen, don't bother with me today, please. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Um, yeah. So first task on there for me. Nice to start the activity. I want you to sketch your thoughts of what you consider to be a network. All right, now we're just going to quickly go through them. You should be doing that on your document. Make sure you capture what you need to capture on your document. You can keep that for your exam preparation. We're going to be crushing it. All right. Okay, so let's start out with Deandra. Deandra, when you see the word network, what is it that you think about? What's a network? What really is a network?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
could you repeat?
What is a network?
Sir, I think a network is something that
Mm-hmm. Something that all right, look like we lose Deandra. All right, so just want to talk about and I'm sure that most of you would have heard persons, associate network to Digicel or network to Flow. I want to look at what really is a network. All right, and in simple, it is when two or more computers are connected together to allow them to communicate and share resources. And by communicating, we just mean that they can share resources and information. So let's go and talk about one of the simplest network you probably ever see. Um, if you have a iPhone, we know that some people now have iPhone already. We want to call their name that start with J, right? But iPhone, if you have an iPhone, right, you might have an earpod. I'm looking at Colton. No, those two devices can communicate because of a network. In fact, we refer to that as a personal area network, right? And it's just a network that is on your person, okay? So anytime we have two or more devices that are connected together that allows for communication and sharing resources, we refer to that as a network, all right? Now, my next question on there was to ask what are some of the common daily activities that we would use a network for? Now, we use a network for different reasons. In fact, the internet is the largest network, okay? So from playing music via Bluetooth, Colton is actively now listening to me through his earpod. I don't know who gave him permission to do that. Some persons interact with Alexa and Siri for, we can't leave out the persons with Android, So we're going to talk about Alexa now. All right? Alexa, ask for the weather forecast from Alexa, right? For, whether it's, if you have a AC unit that is controlled by some app on your device that is made possible because of a network, okay? At daytime, so those of you may have been in school and the school have their own network with their computers. The moment you have to log onto that PC, that's because of a network. All right. In the case of this lesson, if you did not connect to the internet, you would not be able to access this class on Zoom, or you would not be able to access this class as the resources in Google Drive. All right. So that in itself is a network, or made possible because of a network. Okay. If you went to the library, you had to print something from your computer. It is only possible if the two devices are connected some way, whether that's by wire or by wireless, okay? And so that's another way how you may have used a network. For persons who love to watch Netflix and chill, and Amazon Prime and whatever, you are using a network. You're literally accessing a remote server in order to watch a movie online. And those people who watch football in Jamaica, we won't even talk about the Liverpool people, you are able to do that because of a network. Or else, if you would have to pay your money, get a visa, and hopefully they approve you to come to those matches. All right. We play games as well online, and that is made possible because of a network. All right. So you can go ahead and tap into your sheet, or you may have used network. Now, my next question on the page was wide area networks have enabled email and social networking to become a major part of our society today. And again, an example of wide area network, R1, is the internet. And my question was, to what extent have these tools changed our society for the better? And of course, I list three main reasons. You can think of some other ways, which I will ask you in a minute. So because of the internet, we can have faster and also global communication. Look how beautiful it is that I can stay right here in Essex, UK, and teach you in Jamaica. Wonderful. Had it not been for a wonderful network called the internet, this would not be made possible. Okay, I'm able to email you your work. I was able to respond to Colton's email, SBA, and thing. I was able to respond to Deandra, only that she nobody respond to me. Maybe she did my extended Christmas break, so we don't know what is happening with her SBA. All right, and we don't even know if Colton is finished. Just that I need my SBA by the end of this weekend. I need my Excel and database by the end of this week. No, what? What's the
of the Excel part, sir, and I started the database.
Fabulous. That's good news. You have until the rest of the day into tomorrow to get it done. All right.
Uh,
No, great. Yeah, and send it over to me. Thank you. All right. Because of network, we learn about Jakes and Rosalie. Social networking, TikTok. Everybody in Jamaica know these people, and everybody over the world who have a vested interest in Jamaica know this. This is all made possible because of a network. All right. We also have improved access to information. Yes, you can research, you can pull up, information anywhere on the internet. I was sharing with one of my class in the past that I am from Trelawney, just outside of Christiana, just up South Trelawney thereabout. And I remember when I was going to school that we never had internet. Internet was something that was introduced somewhere around 2008, 2009. So you're supposed to know something, an old person. And I had to come back to the community library on Main Street, Christiana. No, because that library was responsible for helping students with their work from Spalding High, Knox College, Christian High School, the comprehensive schools around, and those who are coming in from Mandeville as well. And even people were going to try, used to come up there. Can't talk about the Westwood people and because they used to board. They must have them more than library. We used to go home, right? And I remember one evening I was waiting for a particular book at the library. The line was so long that they had to make a S outside the bus park because of how long the line was. By the time I reached into the library to get the book and to photocopy it, somebody didn't bother to photocopy it. They tore the page out and went over it. Ultimately, I was not able to do my homework, and my teacher chastised me horribly for it. But because of internet, I would not have to do that anymore because we have things like Google. Nowadays, people have ChatGPT, people have Copilot, so many resources to help us access information. All right. We have resources like AI, other AI resources that helps us to access and formulate information much quicker. All right. And of course, there is stronger social and of course business connections. All right. And by that, we just mean that people can work remotely, people can go to school remotely right now. There's also business opportunity. My first job, I got that online. I could stay in Jamaica, do the interview. These people never know me from Adams. They employed me. I moved to the United States. My third job, same thing. I stayed in the United States. Them reached out to me, do an interview virtually. I did well, and I was given a ticket to the UK. And now here am I here. So that's the point. Technology, in terms of a network, have improved our lives. Okay. Now, the key question I want to be able to answer as it relates to your curriculum this evening is what are the characteristics of lands and wants. Ultimately, they want you to know the difference between them. And we cannot talk about differences without actually defining them and setting them up. So what we're going to do today, we're going to walk through and build out a land that makes it much more easier to comprehend. So I'm going to start here with standalone computers. And standalone computers mean exactly what it is. If I buy a phone, a burner phone, and I never access Wi-Fi or I never connect via Wi-Fi to any network whatsoever, that is a standalone computer. If I bought my laptop and never connect it to another device, whether through Wi-Fi or physically through a cable, that is a standalone computer. So if you look on here now, I have 3 standalone computers on here, which means they are not connected in any way. They don't have internet access and they're not connected physically. What that means is that if this is Jade here and this is DeAndre, they need to share work for whatever reason. Somebody has to manually copy it from here on a thumb drive or something and then go all the way over here, go plug it in and pass it on to that device. Also, if this is Colton right up here, I'm going to have to depend on Colton himself to make sure he saves his work. Because if Colton loses power and forget to save his work, he's going to lose access to that work, right? But if this were a network, we would have a server in that automatically backs up and save the work for him. It also gives me access to his work if it is stored centrally. So a standalone computer is a computer that stands on its own. Any task or data associated with that computer stay inside it and are not accessible from anywhere else. So if this is a standalone computer and you stored your work at school, when you go home, there's no way for you to access that work because it is stored on a standalone computer that is not connected to any network. Hence, there's no way to access it, right? Cool. So the reason why you're able to access your email from anywhere is because those emails are stored on a special type of computer called a server, all right? And so because those that is connected to the network, which is the internet, once you have internet access anywhere you are in the world, you are able to access that work, all right? Any questions so far, or are we doing fine? Good. So any peripherals, anybody remember what peripherals are? Peripherals. This can be the class that we just look at input and output devices. Any device that is connected to the motherboard, your main part of your computer is classified as a peripheral. So a mouse, a printer, an external keyboard, an external webcam, an external hard drive, any enhancement that you had, your earpod there didn't come with the phone itself. So that in itself is a peripheral. In essence, it is an added device for your comfort and to make easy use of the device. Allow for what we call user interface. What is user interface? What is happening to my class? This class is not remembering anything we talk about. This is all.
I'm remembering, I'm just giving Colton a chance to redeem himself from last class.
Yes. All right. Well, give him no chance no more. What is user interface? Physical user interface, that is.
User interface refers to the user being in contact with the computer.
Right. Being able to interact.
Yeah.
Good. And physical would imply any physical device that allows the user to be able to interact with the computer. All right, fabulous. Those persons who have missed those classes, you will need to go back and look at those lessons. All those lessons have been recorded, plus the resources are in the classroom. Do not miss out on them. All right. So obviously there are some very obvious limitations with standalone computers, which means they're not connected to anything. The users are restricted to that single computer. The same software cannot be installed simultaneously. So if I have 3 computers and there's no connection between them, and I want to install Microsoft Office, yes, you have to install them one after the other. There's no way to do it simultaneously. No, a standalone requires that any new program must be set up one by one, which is much more time consuming. So if I have to run programs manually, imagine all the computers in your lab at school. If they had to walk around and install the software that you need, let's say they're installing Dev Pascal for writing programs, and they had to do that manually, that would take a whole day, and you'd probably be paying somebody a day's pay for nothing at all. But with a network, the person at the main computer, main server, can install them all at once, and they get pushed out to the students all at once. Teacher want to upload work to students, he can upload those work to students' account all at once. I don't know how your schools are set up, so I'm just speculating here. Hopefully that's how it goes. Yeah. What program do you write in Jelly at what interpreter or compiler are you guys using at Westwood?
Sir, I don't know. That's something I
You gonna
just,
start right now program it?
no, sir.
So the only program where you write are the two half-dead program where you learn about yourself in a Python. Oh my gosh. When is the exam? Okay. Keep moving. Uh, so for all of your year 10 years, you never write one program yet.
Sir, as usual with my teacher, he wants to go from the basics that he taught us in grade 8. And the things that he taught us in grade 8, he's been teaching those stuff over and over and over and over, just
Oh.
continuously. And then he said he was done with us and never came back to another class in grade 8. So now, grade 10 to 11, we kind of have to go back to that. And it was,
Wow. Who else is in year 11? Look, I can come look at job down our suit. Who else is in year 11? Regine, what class you in? Ashane, what class you in? I already know Deandra just in a year 10.
Grade 11, sir.
You're in year 11. What program, what compiler are you using?
What, sir?
Compiler. Do you write programs in class?
No, sir.
Seriously?
Right now, it's mainly the SBA the teacher focus on.
Yeah, but you still have to do a program because there's a programming part to do. So you would
She
need to
said
learn the algorithm so you can go do the
she
program.
she said we're going to start it, but she never make no move toward it. So
This is January. Exam is March. Is May. How
that
long
is
do you think?
not true.
How long do you think it takes to learn the program sensibly so you can answer questions relating to it? Oh, them just are gonna make you lose then 20 points. Or you gamble and get few points. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can change that course. All right, cool. Let's hurry up and get through. So standalones, of course, when computers are standalone, they're harder to monitor. For example, because I have no direct connection to Colton, forget the internet right now, to his computer. I can't see what Colton are doing now. So if Colton over there look for a pretty girl, I can't see, right? But if we were connected directly, I could check his computer and see where my watch while he is in my class. All right, good.
Sir, you couldn't say I was watching football or something. Like, did it have to be?
As
You look
usual.
like
As usual.
you look like the type.
As usual.
Sir, what's that supposed to mean?
You look like the type who would do that. I'm just saying. All right.
Really?
Let's move on. All right, I think I had a true or false question on yours. So computers that are not connected to a network are called standalone computers. True or false? Why am I not nobody respond? This
True,
should be
sir.
going like school challenge quiz. Good.
True.
Why? Why?
Because sir, once you're not connected to a computer, to a network, sir, you are not really anything, sir. So you are a standalone computer. You stand by yourself. Go.
I see. All right, cool. What would you say is a disadvantage of having 4 standalone computers in a classroom? What is happening with my class? What would you say is a disadvantage of having 4 stand by themselves computer in a classroom, 4 students using them? Oh, guys, that expecting to respond, you know. All right, by the way, go into the chat and type an answer. Now wait. I am looking for the answer. I should be getting answers from every person in the class. And I'm here waiting patiently and there's no response.
All right, sir.
Hmm?
So there will be less group work and more individual work, basically.
What that mean?
All right, so it's a limited collaboration, so they can't work with each other on
But them are not people, them are
So
devices.
there'll be, let's
Sir, I
see.
mean with the students that are using the devices, sir.
Oh, but then can collaborate without using technology.
Sir,
I'm
but
just pushing
technology is
back
the
and
backbone of information technology. So let's say
okay.
that they're using those technology in IT class,
Mm.
the computers in IT class, it will stop their collaboration. It will prevent
What
them.
do you mean by it will stop their collaboration? Because right now, me and you work together, you know. So what do you mean by that?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, sir. So the no network means that they can't share resources efficiently.
Okay, no, that's it. Now you're talking. That's what I'm expecting to hear. You're not able to share resources. Good. Thank you for that. Very good answer right there. What about you, Colton? What were you saying?
There'll be a lack of supervision on all of the computers.
Difficult to manage.
Yes, sir.
All right, nice. Good. Thank you. All right, cool. Like it. Okay. All right, so I have placed my thoughts on here. So disadvantage, nice answer for my exam. This is what I want you to write in the exam, something like this. If you get this question, a disadvantage of having 4 standalone computers in a classroom, see, nice, prim and proper, is that they cannot share resources such as files or printers, making collaboration, put it together, Jerry, collaboration and efficient resource management more difficult. All right. So this is how I would like you to put your answer together. All right. Thank you. Good. The first one, why is it standalone? Standalone computers are not connected to a network because they operate independently without sharing resources or communicating with other devices. Good. So now, this is why we need a network. How can you learn what a network is without even understanding why you need it? We need a network because of this. Yeah. So because a network is 2 or more computers, electronic devices that is, that are connected together for the purpose of communication, they are connected importantly by wire, wired medium, or transmission medium, such as cables or wireless in the case of Wi-Fi. Now, why are we creating a network? 3 number 1 reason why we need a network is 1, to share resources. Be very clear as to what that is if you're asked in the exam. We're talking about files, printers, internet connection. Yeah. It also improves communication between users, which means you can send email, you can probably WhatsApp someone, you can share a file to them on Google Drive. That's what we're talking about. And of course, there's centralized data and management for efficiency and security. So in the case of your classroom, your whoever is in charge of your IT management, they can determine who can log on and who can't, and what are the different sites you can go onto, because we know there are some unscrupulous folks. This is not Colton I'm talking about now, who will visit sites they should be on, playing games and watching Premier League in class when they should be focused on learning. So we're going to do an activity. If you have downloaded the file, you should be able to see, if you go look up the top of your Word, you should see the option draw. Want to see it? Giving us a draw. Do you see the draw options? Hello? Hello, anybody see the draw up at the top? That don't look like Mike. You still there? We're not taking no more break. Holiday make we drop out of the groove. Can you confirm that you can see the draw in your Microsoft Word from the ribbon?
Yes,
You
sir.
see? Thank you very much. Thank you. So what we're going to do now is to try and bring to life what we have been speaking about. So at the moment, a small company has 4 people working for it, and they have 4 computers. If this is a law firm and these are 4 lawyers, or 3 of them being lawyer and 1 being the secretary, from time to time, the secretary might need to transfer things to each lawyer. At the moment, she has to manually save them to a thumb drive and walk around and hand them over manually to each of the computers that are in the office. So all computers now need, we have decided now that we want to change things around. So I have employed you to design your first network. All computers need to be networked together. You are going to use a draw tool and draw a line that connects directly each computer. All right. So I'm going to give you like about a few seconds to do that. Connect all of your computers. Wicked. What is the problem with this network, Jody? Any observation?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
it's not efficient. It's not.
What do you mean?
Well, sir, when you look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Resources are only going to be shared on 2-2.
Yeah. So only these 2 can communicate, and only these 2 can communicate. What
Yes, sir.
happens if I want to communicate to this one? It's not possible because these are 2 cables. So that means I need to fix this by making sure that there is direct communication between them.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
That would work. That would work.
Wonderful. Awesome. So on your worksheet, it asks you a couple of questions. Yeah, it asks you a couple of questions. How many cables did we use? So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it uses 6 cables on there. All right. Now remember why I questioned them, you know. All right. All right. So I owe me curious then something, you know. Style. Oops. All right, so let's just go through these now. So we know it's 6 cables. I don't know if erase the sound. What you do it? Have me to undo. No, sir. This I only can annotate, but oh, I'm not to tell me say thing of style thing over them something, yeah, man. Yeah. There you go. All right, nice. We get the hang of it now. Good. All right, so all right, so on here now, we want to ask, what was the purpose of the cable? Colton, what was the purpose of the cable in this network?
Sir, to connect all the computers, sir.
So, like the word physical, you know, physically connect two or more devices together. All right, nice, cool. What will I need if I decide to add more computers? What will I need? Where's my class? Deandra, Regine, Ashine, I'm not here now. What do I need if I want to add more computers?
So you would need more cables so that you can connect all computers.
Fabulous. And more cables that will cost more. More cables will cost more. What is going on with this class?
Money.
Thank you. On a respond, man. Sure. All right.
Sir, I'm multitasking.
Nice. All right. So listen up. So what then would you say is one disadvantage of setting up a network like the one we just do? What? Imagine if you did have all that, let's say you had all of your, let's say I had 30 computers in a room. I would have to connect them directly. What kind of problem would that cause?
Time. It'd be time consuming.
Time consuming to create, yes, but what else? Imagine a computer lab like this with 30 computers with cables running towards each device. What kind of problem would that cause?
Confusion, sir.
The environment would look clustered because of the amount of cables that are lying around.
Good. Not only clustered, but it would create hazard. So while the network works, it is not efficient. All right. So this would definitely allow these computers to communicate and share resources, but it is not efficient. So as a network manager, we're not just trying to create a network that can communicate, but one that is properly aligned, it is well spacious and organized. All right, good. So we decide then that we are going to improve. So this is your next activity. We're going to improve on this because we don't want all of this cable. So we are going to add something called a hub to the center. On your thing, you should see the hub in the middle. You are now going to connect each computer to the hub. And I want you to observe what are you now reducing in. All right. So if this is mine, all right. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Wow. So we are now doing what now? Using less what? Hello?
Cables.
We're using less cables. So if you walk around your computer lab, you will notice that even the cables are shorter, and that you would notice that those are plugged into small hubs that allow for the network. They are still connected, but it is now much more organized, and you minimize having the risk that we spoke about earlier on. All right, good. So make sure you're not dealing with anything, you're not doing anything as we're going through. All right, cool. All right. So my question then, follow-up question, would be to tell me two benefits then of using the hub in the network. What would be two benefits? Anybody can answer. Come on, guys, let's do it. Let's do it. We're running, clock is running down, you know.
So it'll be more cost efficient.
Cost efficient because you're saving on what? Gotta finish the statement, man.
It'd be more cost efficient because you wouldn't be using as much cables as you would if you weren't using the hub.
Good, but I could also argue, but I'm going to use that substitute money to now buy hubs, right? So I might reduce cables, but I could also buy hubs. You could still further develop that point that even with producing more hubs, because look at this, if you had those cables running across, what would also happen is that the cables would frequently damage. Imagine somebody walking across, they would probably knock them out the computers, and then they would break, and you'd have to keep on replacing them over a period of time, right? Whereas if you buy your hub and it is properly organized, it is true that you're going to be saving money in the long run, all right? So try and complete your full thought to defend your point when you make such a point, all right? That's good. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back to the question because I want to show you an advantage, all right? Now look at this now. If this is Jadi, right, Asana? Yeah. And this is me. This is Colton. And this is this is Ashani, okay? Let's say these cables were not there. Let's remove these cables from them. Remove them. They are not there, okay? Those cables are not there. if I want to send a message to Jadi, I can still send the message because ultimately these are connected, but here's a problem. Anything I send to Jadi will either have to go through a third party, which means if I send something, Colton will be able to see, so there's no privacy, or it will go through Ashley, there's no privacy. When we have installed a hub inside, right? The hub acts as a broadcaster. So all I need to do, the machine will send and tell the address that it is trying to go to. The hub acts like a post office. So just like how you take a letter to the post office with the address on it, the postman don't then send your letter to somebody else. They look for where it needs to go and sends it directly to the machine that it needs to go to. All right, very important. So that's another advantage of having a hub. The other one is that it obviously makes the thing more organized. Yeah, more organized and ultimately more efficient. All right, cool. We have a problem now. We still have not solved the automatic saving work problem. Even though my computers are well organized now, I'm going to have a problem. Because if one student is working on this computer, another is working here, another is working here, they are responsible to ensure that they save their work. It's like, no, you guys have your Word document that you have downloaded. If you don't save your work, it's lost, it's gone. But if we had connected into some form of network and then added a server to it, then it would automatically back up the work. That is why when you're working in Google Docs, you don't have to try to save anything because everything is being monitored by the server. So the server backs up the files for you. So that is what we're going to move into next because your exam requires you to know these devices. So in activity 4, can you go ahead and connect your server to the hub? All right? Connect your server to the hub. Now, with the server now in the hub, yes, you don't need to save any files on these independently, right? Once the work is completed, the file server, it will be stored centrally on the file server. I should show you another problem. Go back and go look on the problem. You know. Hey, let's look at this. Let's go back to a problem. Let's go back here. Gotta point this out. Okay. So this is Jadi. This is me. I want to access a file from Jadi's computer. I have to hope that Jadi have left her account open or she shares her password with me so I can turn her computer on. Even though I'm accessing it remotely, this computer needs to be on in order for files to be accessed. If Jadi is going to have to share her password with me, it creates another problem called security because I could also go and look into things that Jadi don't want me to look into, right? So therefore, it is not the best way of setting up a network. But when there is a file server, go back to my activity in the system, you have a file server. When there's a file server that is in the system that is connected, yeah, all files are stored here centrally. And therefore, I can access your work directly. So let's kind of think about it from this class. That is why I put your work on Google Drive, because Google Drive is stored on a server. Anything you upload to Google Drive, I can see it whether or not your computer is turned off or whether or not you have decided to take a Christmas break or whatever. And that is what the server is meant to do. So I don't know if your school have server and something there. I don't know how your school set up, but naturally, in a computer lab, there should be a server that deals with the backing up of your files. So you shouldn't have to be manually trying to store your work. It should automatically be storing, backing up your work. So if something should happen and you lose your SPA, the person who manages the lab should be able to retrieve all of your files. So that's what the server does. The server allows for the backing up of data. That's one of the main reasons for having the server. But the server is also responsible for security, right? So everybody now will have to have a login password that is set up on the server, and you have to have your password and username accurate in order to gain access to the network. Okay? So, in your own words, go ahead and write what a server is. A server, and I could help you, is a powerful machine, a powerful computer that is used to store data, files centrally in a network. All right? It is also responsible for managing access to the network. Okay, cool. And then, of course, my question too, I want you to complete this statement. With a file server in the network, everybody type your own sentence in the chat. In the chat, all right? So complete this statement on here. So if you type here already, copy and paste in the chat so we can see it. See why it would be lovely if all our computers are connected together. You wouldn't have to do all of that, you know. I would just see what you type. Sure. Yeah. When you don't have that kind of connection, it becomes hard to monitor, is it? Right? All right, I don't see anything in the chat yet. Why is people taking so long? Good, with a file server network, all data is stored appropriately and safely. You need something else. Missing a keyword. That because when I have a flash drive, it still save appropriately. And it's still safe to an extent. All right? So it needs something else. Put some flesh on that. I still don't see any other sentence. What about the other peeps? Ashley, with a file server in the network, there is a single organized storage for all company files. This makes information easier to manage. Yeah. Still need something, need something. There are some keywords I mentioned that I am not hearing. Need something. When you make porridge and it need a little bit of, need something. Need something to bring up a taste. Need something. Add something to it there. I don't hear anything from Regine. Nothing from Colton. Let's hear D'Angelo. Users can store and access shared files from a specific. Change the word specific. We need a word that start with something like C. It is the word. A word is central. All right. So remember, server allows for central management, right? Central storage, which allows for central access. Another beautiful thing. Let me go back to my diagram. Jeez. Oh gosh. Go back. What's going on? All right. Here's the other thing again. If this was D'Angela's computer, and for whatever reason, I came and I said, D'Angelo, sign out of your account. Go and sit over here. Because this is now a network and everything is stored. Her file, her account is stored on the server. When she moves to this point, she will find all of her work. Just like just like with your email, that it does not matter which device you sign in on to get onto TikTok or into your email account. When you get there, you will find your files there just the same. If it was a standalone computer, you would have to manually copy everything from your account, now transfer it to the new computer. All right? So that is another beautiful thing about a network. All right, cool. We are going good enough. All right, watch now. Next activity. So now, we still have a problem with the computer we want to have. Come on. Yeah. Because at this point, we have central storage, we have greater security because the file server is now there to manage. It is well organized because of the hub, but there's a problem. You know, no internet access. You can't research, you can't Netflix and chill. So you need a router. Can you go ahead and connect your router to your hub? This will now allow for all of the users in the network to be able to connect to the internet, which is the largest network. It is an example of what we call a wide area network. So what is the purpose of the router? It connects your small network to a larger network called the internet. You could also use a router to connect this network. So let's say I have 5 classrooms. How many labs do you have at your school? How many computer labs do you have at school? People them from down what's that school name again? Westwood. People from over Westwood. How much lab we have? How much computer labs?
Campus, sir.
3.
3. All right. So let's say this is one classroom, and then there's another classroom, another classroom. What you will notice, and next time I'm not going to observe, yeah, you will probably see some router, whether them put it up high so that there's access, but that router is meant to connect several LANs together, several local area network. So let's say this represents one classroom, you go to another classroom, there's another one, there's another. But then if you go as well into the offices, you're going to find one there as well, because it not only connects your local area network to the internet, but it also connects the networks together. So all of the computers at Westwood function as if they belong to Westwood High School. All right? Good. And that is made possible because of the router. Fabulous. So now we're going to move to my next question. All right? So what we have just created is what we call a local area network. So what is a local area network? It is a network in a small geographical area or on a single site. You should see, put in that definition. All right? So when we talk about local area network, it is a small network. So if you go into a classroom, all those computers are connected together, that is a network. If you go up at Jade house, you might find 2 computers, 4 phones in the house, 1 TV, and they're all connected to one little router up there. That is her family personal local area network. All right? That's a network. So the next time you are asked what is a local area network, I went through all of this evening to tell you that it is a network in a small area or on a single site. Let's see how it applies to a single site. At Westwood, you said you have 3 classrooms and probably a number of different offices with computers in there. All of those are some small local area network that are joined together to form one big local area network. Why? Because they are on a single site. One of the way to know that you are actually talking about a local area network is that all of the hardware is owned by the organization or by the person. In the case of your home, all of the device owned by you or your family. In the case of a school, all of the devices, from the file server to the computers that are connected together, are owned by the organization. Very important that we know this, okay? Another thing that we can observe from the activity we just did is that local area network are wired using cable, all right, but can also use wireless. So that is why at your school, they might have Wi-Fi, even though it's weak, so that you are able to attach your phone to that local area network. All right, good. Are there any questions up to this point? All right, let's take our time and journey. Yeah, so you should have answered what the purpose of the router is already. All right, so let's now move right along. I know my next activity on there require you to choose from the two pictures that's on there. Just copy the one, cut it and paste it in the space that says local area network, right? So that would be the building with the, that building, that's a single site. So if you went to the exam and they gave you a picture and said, and asked you this way, which of those would depict a local area network? That is what I intend to imply by that picture, okay? Now, they ask you to write 3 solid points. You need to know 3 points because in the exam, they could give you 1 point. They could say a local area network is a network in a small area. Give 2 other reasons or other characteristics, 2 other characteristics of a local area network. So you need to know at least 3. So the question could come in that way. Or it could be that they ask you which network, I give you a scenario and say the school owns all of the devices, blah, 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 what kind of network it is. So you want to make sure that these solid 3 points register right up in your brain and you understand them clearly. Cool? Now I'm going to move on to the next one. So the next picture with the globe, with the computers going around, is meant to imply a wide area network. And I gave an example of that, which is the internet, which is showing different devices connected together globally or over a large area. So copy that picture and put that in. Now I'm going to give you 3 points that you need for a wide area network. Here they are. So wide area network covers a large geographical area. And watch this now, watch this. Connecting lands together. Let me explain that. Because let's say this is Jade's house with her network, with her family. This is Colton house. This is Deandra house. Look at this. Jade doesn't own all of these devices. Neither does Colton. Neither does Deandra. All of them connected together forms the internet. Dear any one of you, when asked what is the internet, tell me about Google, because I shall rebuke you. The internet is a network that connects different networks together or different devices together for the purpose of communication and share resources. So let me ask a question. Deandra, who do you think owns the internet? Why is she skin up her face so?
No, sir, because you're breaking up.
I am breaking up. Achoo. So this is a lovely explanation that I given you now here. Is it breaking up on your side, Colton? No?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Deandra, fix up your data now. Fix up your data and stop accusing me. Yes, Colton, who is it that owns the internet? Now that we have established what the internet is, that it is a global connection of networks that pool together for the purpose of communicating and sharing resources. Who owns the internet?
No, I don't think anyone owns the internet, sir.
Fabulous answer, young man. You have learned. You have learned. You need to pop your shoulder. You have learned. No one owns the internet. Because when you take your phone and connect via Wi-Fi, guess what? That becomes a part of the internet infrastructure. So is either we're going to say no one or we're going to say everyone who have a device that is connected to it. So when you understand it from that perspective, you understand why we are able to communicate over this large network. So I was making the point that Google is not the internet. Google is a service that is offered by the internet. Let me make this very clear. The World Wide Web is not a synonym to the internet. The internet is the physical infrastructure, the network, the modem, the routers, the computers, the phones, the servers that are connected together. That is the internet. All right? So when I hear people say them, I'll go up on the internet. Enough time I want to squeeze them, but me sometimes, me have like a mercy on them. You are browsing the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web is a system of websites that are available and accessible via the internet. So without the network, you would not be able to access the websites. This is why if you don't have any service, whether from Flow, Starlink, or Digicel, you can browse the internet because you're not physically connected. All right? Good. Is everybody happy with that? Let's take it on. Now, another thing I need to point out is that the infrastructure between the lands are leased. The little router that you have from up a Digicel is not your own. That is why when you you decide you don't want them anymore, you have to return or you'll have to pay for it because those resources are leased. The point I'm making here is large wide area network consists of a number of lands over a large geographical area. I'm going to make mention of man. Could you scroll down to the bottom of the lesson, somewhere down the plenary area there? I also mentioned man because you'll need to know man as well. So man stands for MAN, it's also a network. It stands for Metropolitan Area Network. What does the word metropolitan mean? What's the word metropolitan means? Come on, guys. Hello. You never hear that word there yet. Metropolitan. Seriously? Serious?
Sir, repeat the word.
Metropolitan.
Sir, is it a network? I'm not sure.
Metropolitan area network is a network, but we need to know what metropolitan mean so we can figure out what kind of network that is. All right? Cool. Should I make on go research on yourself? But it's a network in like a city area or township. All right? And please, that is not the internet. All right? So sometimes an organization, yeah, might have several different offices. Or yeah, maybe like NCB. Let's say them have 2 or 3 different places in a metropolitan area, and they have their own network, maybe an intranet, which is a private network, and that spreads over a metropolitan area. In a sense, yep, that would be a metropolitan area network, so to speak. All right, just to point it out. Okay, let's run it up. I want to talk about some advantages. So your next activity on the lesson is to speak about what are some advantages. We spoke about some of them, but you need to know at least 3 of these that you can speak about boldly and confidently. The first one is file sharing. It just means that users can share files with each other. There's also hardware sharing, which means users can share hardware such as a printer. Right? There's also file access, which means users can sign into any computer on the network and be able to access their files. And then there's what we call centralized maintenance and updates, which means network managers can apply software updates across a network, removing the need for a user to worry about having to do so. So you don't have to go to school and install antivirus software. Your network manager runs that centrally. If that was your personal device, then you would have the responsibility to do that. There's also centralized security, which means antivirus software and firewalls can be implemented across the network, which helps to protect user files from risk and also keep Colton from watching what he should not do. Amen. All right. Cool.
Sir, it's coming like you're taking set on me for the new year.
Yeah, I am.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Disadvantages. Again, you need to know. As a matter of fact, you need these 4. You need to know these 4. Because they have so many different ways of asking the same question in an exam. It's pretty good that you know. So one, it costs. So when you create a network, there's additional costs. You have to buy a cable, you have to buy a hub, you have to buy a switch, you have to go and get your router and pay up your service. It's going to cost you more money. In terms of management, is the other disadvantage, which means network require management by technical staff. That is why your school employ a system person, and their job is only to look at computers. That is why as soon as something not working, you see they calling for that one somebody at your school. All right? Good. Third, spread of malware. If one device have virus, all the devices will have virus. Which means if somehow by chance someone got virus onto the server, it could mean your files are also deleted, even though it was not you. That is why your school restrict you probably from using flash drive in their computers. Is that what happened? You guys do they allow you to use flash drive, thumb drive? Or do they block the ports? I'm asking, remember, I've never been to your school. I only drive past York Castle and drive past Westwood.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
I am asking you if your school allows you to use thumb drive in the network?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to a computer lab and you can use thumb drive?
Yes, sir. When we were doing EDPM, we were allowed to bring it to do our SPAs.
Your school not serious. Your school is not a serious school. Because one of all it takes to destroy everything on that network is just one of those.
If it
Having a
was
virus.
America, it would have happened a long time ago, sir.
In my old school, somebody, and we don't use thumb drive in our school, but what they do is they send around different links to emails, and one unscrupulous individual click on one of those links, and every single person file was locked by a special type of malware called a ransomware. And you all know what a ransom is. They need money to unlock those files. All right. So, because we refused to pay, we had to remake the entire network. Your school is not a serious school. Guys, I've never seen serious virus attack yet. All right, cool. Let's move on to Aki. Which school is that, Ashani?
Westwood, sir.
What? Up here, Westwood people here. I'm going to call the school and make a complaint. I'm going to call as a good citizen and make a complaint. I don't. Not on the students. I'm going to complain on the school. How can they be allowing persons to use thumb drive in a school network? They're not serious. Not a serious school. I'm disappointed. I had Westwood as one of the wealthy schools, but it seems like they only collect people money. Let's go to hacking. All right. So again, once you are connected on a network, if the person gain access to one, they have gotten access to the entire network. So it's like your house, even though your house have several different rooms, all the criminal need is to get access to one door. Right? They get through one door, then they have access to the house. All right, it's the same thing. Cool. All right, so we have covered so plenty stuff. So scroll down to activity 7 there. I want you to fill in those spots with those words. Let's see how much you have grasped from our talking today. Mm-hmm. Everybody finish? Okay. Metropolitan. All right. Are we all good? We done? Done? Like I don't want to spend one next hour. I'm wrap me some of my time, Mind me do 1 2 hour, I'm telling you, me I do less than 2, Mind me do 2 more hours. I'm just playing. Are you guys finished? We done? Done?
Yes, sir.
Fabulous. All right. So check your answers and make sure that you are all happy with those. In terms of the extra bit at the bottom, you will write that in your own time. That is a measure of your understanding of today's lesson. Now I want to quickly go into talk about lesson 2. I want to do it for 20 minutes, and then I want to do some exam questions. I don't play. Let's get it going. So open lesson 2 for me. And then just look at that starter activity and start do something now. Start do something. Why the Angel looks so stressed, man? Sure. May I complain to the parents and I come up on Saturday, I look stressed. You guys are scaring me. All that stress. Making me feel pressured. But I know whose fault it is. It is Jadi's fault. It's usual.
What? Who is it my fault? What did I do?
Yes, sir. I agree with
I'm
that,
not
sir.
sure. Nobody's talking to you. What did I do?
I agree.
Yeah, it's your fault. Make the persons come here stress out. Yeah.
I'm not even close to anybody. Like
you're transferring the stress energy.
but I'm not stressed.
Make
My
sure you're not
exams are completed. I'm not stressed. I'm living life.
You're living life.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Guys, now hear from herself. She's living life. She'll live life. Okie dokie. All right. So we should be on lesson 2 just now. So let us walk through a bit of stuff with that. Yeah. What's going on here? All right, so I want to talk a little bit about transmission media. All right, and by that, we're just simply talking about how is the network connected, whether that is by wire or it is connected wirelessly. All right, so I'm going to quickly write down your thoughts. What is the difference between wired network and wireless network? And I'm just going to pop up some thoughts on there in terms of what I would expect you to write should this be CSEC examination. So wired network uses a cable to connect a device to a network or connect 2 or more devices together in a network, however you want to put that. Within a wireless network, the transmission of data between devices our data is transmitted between devices without using physical cables or wires. I think I may have, yeah. So there's no physical cable or wire. Basically, it is passing signals through radio waves. All right, cool. Now, so All right. So again, in terms of the different types of wired network, you want to list this somewhere. I think it's on your lesson at some point. It's going to ask you about wired, about the different types of cables. So wired network, we have fiber optic, we have Ethernet cables. And this is the one you find in your school. And one of the reasons why it's in your school is because it's cheap, all right? So this is Ethernet, okay? And that's a little blue cable. Sometimes they are yellow. Yeah. Fiber optics are much faster, obviously, because they transmit signals through glass. And we have been told that light is the fastest. And so that accounts to why it is much more faster. But I'm going to talk about bandwidth later on, which makes a whole lot more sense. And then there's wireless. And by wireless, we don't only think about Wi-Fi. All right. So Wi-Fi, anybody know what Wi-Fi stands for? We'll just say Wi-Fi, not true. All right. So Wi-Fi is the short form of wireless fidelity. All right. So wireless fidelity. Okay. Cool. It is not the only type of wireless that we're going to look at. There's Bluetooth, which you all are already familiar with. Okay. There's also infrared. Infrared is what is in your remote. So guys, make sure now note these extra stuff somewhere. So remember, I'm just covering them because I'm seeing them on the syllabus even as I am talking. You know what I mean? So it's very important. Anything I'm saying is important. So infrared, obviously for shorter distance, you use that in remote. So the TV, that's why, and it also what is called line of sight. What that means is that you have to point directly for it to function as you need it to. Okay, cool. Now, for the activity that's on there, I wanted you to write down all of the devices that you can see in there, in the space provided, and you need to specify if it is connected to this home network using wire or wireless, or if it is using both.
Controllers.
Controllers, is that wire wireless?
Wireless. It looks wireless from here.
Wireless, yep. But could also be connected by wire as well. So yeah, they could. They just probably didn't use the cables, but yeah. Anything else that's connected to the network? Which
The
one?
tablet on the table. Is it a tablet?
Which one?
On the table. The table beside the couch on the right side.
What is it that you say is there?
I think it's a tablet. It looks like a tablet.
Yeah, tablet. How is that connected?
Wireless.
Good. Anything else we notice? Come on, guys. That's 2 points out of 10.
The printer.
Printer. And how is that connected?
It looks wireless, but it can be both.
Can be both. Yeah. Good. Come on, guys. 3 points.
The television.
Say.
The television looks like it's wireless, but can be connected wireless depending.
Yeah. Good.
Phone
Anything else?
on the table is connected wirelessly.
Good. Anything we miss? Nobody ain't saying no PC. Or I was there. And no one mentioned the router. We overlooked that. All right, so just add anyone that you didn't include in yours. The router is wired, desktop wired, printer can be both, as we said, TV, both, game console is both, tablet, wireless, smartphone, wireless. All right, cool. Now, as I mentioned to you earlier, and this is on one of your activities, I'm not seeing the page before me right now because I'm just going through this. So just check for and make sure that you do what you need to do with the information when you need to. All right. Now, so when we talk about wireless connection again, it is based on what we call radio waves. And as I mentioned, there are different technologies. We have different types. So we have Bluetooth, we have Wi-Fi, we have 3G. Now this is for your data, the one on your phone, right? So that's third generation. And we have 4G, fourth generation. And nowadays we have 5G, which is fifth generation. Now, I think one of your questions on there asks, which of them is, which of the following option is not wireless? And that would be which one?
Ethernet.
Good. All right, that's Ethernet, cool. All right, now there are a number of advantages and disadvantages when it comes onto wired and wireless networks. I want to look at what some of them are, okay? Bet most of you never know this, that wired network is actually faster than wireless network, all right?
Sir, I
So
knew,
that's
sir.
what, all right, good. And then the reason for this is higher bandwidth. Please remember that word. I'm going to come back and speak what bandwidth is all about. So it has higher bandwidth. That is why it is actually faster. Another thing that is important that when you remember about wireless network, they're actually safer. So anybody who have been bashing the school for the, don't let us use Wi-Fi and all this. This one is more difficult to be hacked. This one is much more safer, okay? In terms of disadvantages of wired network, the cables can be messy, as we would have seen from the activities we did earlier. People can trip, fall over. We also mentioned that it's expensive because you have to keep buying cables when they get damaged. And it is also time consuming when you need to add devices, all right? And also, one of the number one disadvantage of wired network is that the computer cannot move. It is in a fixed position, okay? However, on the other hand, with wireless network, there are no cables and this reduces trip hazards. It also looks neater. It is fast as well to install. And if someone comes to my home, I don't have to be looking at port or plugging out something. It is much easier to just give them the Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi password, and they can be added to the network. All right, very important. People can connect to the network from what? Anywhere within range, giving them what? Flexibility. Right, so that's number one. All right, people want to be able to move around. You don't want to be confined in a spot. In terms of disadvantage, you have slower connection as there can be what? Interference from other signals. So let's explain what that means. So let's pick on Jade again. Jade's house, she has her router or modem downstairs her house in the living room. And because, people are always in there making noise and she wants to go to her room so she can study, and her room happened to the upstairs, she will close the door at the living room, then close another door to her room, and then her house is filled with so much furniture because her mom loved to buy a new couch, new settee, big refrigerator, and all of those. Signals do not pass through things. So it can't walk through the wall. Signal cannot walk through the board. It cannot walk through the furniture. Believe it or not, the signals, the radio waves are moving around like this. Okay? And so if there is obstacles, it is likely that the service upstairs will be less than it is when you are actually close by. And that is again because of the obstruction that is caused whether by the closing of doors or by just furniture that is in the way. All right. So how do you fix this problem? You're either going to get a router for your room upstairs, or you're going to have to run a cable from downstairs to your room. But it's important to remember that when you run a cable that becomes wired, it causes tripping. It can cause one to trip over. So it's a tripping hazard that it creates. And also, cable should not be run more than about 10 meters. If you run an Ethernet cable beyond 10 meters thereabout, you start to have interferences, which means it is not as strong as before. Okay? As I mentioned before, it has lower bandwidth than wired network. We're going to look at that in a second. And of course, it is potentially insecure as it can be easier hacked into a wireless system. All right. So you have to be careful that you're using Wi-Fi at home because a skillful hacker can actually hack your network at home much easier. All right, cool. Just need to put that out there. All right. I'm gonna just jump over a couple of these and I'll just leave you to finish the activities in your own time on there. So I'm gonna go and speak about what bandwidth is. Now let me just ask, all right? And my answer is actually on there. Most times when I talk to persons about bandwidth, they think we're talking about speed, all right? So whereas higher bandwidth result in faster service, it does not mean that bandwidth is equivalent to speed. All right, let's just make that clear. So there is a correlation between speed and bandwidth, but they are not the same thing. I want to look on the flow of water coming down through my pipes. I'm using this as a demo. If I had a container to fill, which of these would fill the container more, quicker, and why?
Sir, can you repeat?
All right. If I'm trying to catch water, you know, in a container, which of these pipe do you think will running at this pace, just as is on the screen? Which of them do you think would fill the container faster?
Sir, the middle one,
Why?
because as displayed, it's showing that it's more pressure is coming to it.
Me not think
And
more
water, you know,
pressure
sir, it's
come
a
through.
pressure.
Me not think more pressure. The pressure look the same to me. They might go at the same pace. But what is happening? More what? Come on, man. You're right there. You're thinking. Don't stop thinking right now. It's not pressure, but more what?
Sir, more water coming to it.
Yes, man. That's my answer, man. The water is at the same pace. Then there we don't see one water going shh and the other one going shh. No. All that is happening is that more water is passing per second. And therefore, it is going to fill the container much faster. So I want to think of this in the same way as what higher bandwidth means. This is why on a higher bandwidth, if you're trying to download a file, it will happen much faster. Why? Because more data can be passed per second. All right. So that is what we mean by bandwidth. Okay. So bandwidth is the amount of data that can be moved from one device to another in a given time. Always remember my pipe analogy when you're trying to understand the difference between them. So just as more water can pass through this because of the size, yeah, into the bucket in a given time, and ultimately you will have the water, the bucket filled much faster, right? That is the exact same analogy that we apply to bandwidth. Okay, so with higher bandwidth, more data can be transferred per second. So you can download more things per second. You can stream a high quality movie and get access to it much quicker than Jade grandmother internet that is just 3G. So when she tried to load up Netflix at her grandmother, you see it just taking a little time and whining because less data is being passed through per second, as opposed to if you have higher bandwidth. Okay? So when Colton decided to visit his grandfather's house and decided to go watch Premier League on his little small internet bandwidth and play a game and plus bring all his cousins and all his friends and everybody want to connect to the internet, that is why the internet is slow. So what you need to do in that case is to increase the bandwidth if you want to have more people connecting at the same time. Which is why in a school, right, more people, if you have more students trying to log on all at the same time, the bandwidth is now shared between all of the devices that are trying to connect, which means ultimately that accessing certain services is going to be much slower. All right? Any question? So as I said, the wider the pipe, the more water can flow through it at any one time. Same thing, the higher the bandwidth, more data can be stored. So increasing the bandwidth, look at this, does not increase the speed of the data transfer. Just like if I make this pipe bigger, it doesn't make the water flow down quicker. But what it does is allow for more water to pass per second, which then allows for the filling of the container much faster. So there is a relationship between speed and bandwidth, but they are not the same thing. Water doesn't travel any faster as the pipe gets wider, but you get more water because more can flow through the pipe at the given time. Hopefully that's clear. All right. Now, so as I said, you can complete these activities in your own time. Bandwidth is measured usually in bits per second, whether it's megabits or bits per second. What this simple means is that 1 million bits of data can pass through per second. I'm going to use an activity to try and illustrate this. Hopefully,
So what about 600 megabits? Is that a lot per second?
600 megabits, right? That means 600 million bits per second. So if someone had three megabits, you would notice that you would be able to do things much faster because you can pass up to 600 million bits per second. So that's what that actually means. So if you look on my diagram here, let me try and bring it home. If you are using Bluetooth to transfer a file, Bluetooth ranges from anywhere between 1 to 3 megabits per second. All right. So if you have very large files, it's going to take a very long time and it's likely to fail and you have to restart again. If you have a 3G, which is on your data in terms of phone, it's going to take anywhere from between 1.5 to 8 million bits per second. So yes, you can do more on this per second than with Bluetooth. If you go on up to 4G, 4G can do 15 to 90 million bits per second, which is why if you are trying to watch a movie on this, it is going to load much faster than this one, okay? If you have 5G, it is anywhere between 150 to 200 million bits per second. So you can understand why on a 5G, you are able to play game, you can do so much more, people can connect, and the internet still moves quickly. All right, cool. Look at Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is generally around 600 megabits per second. So if you check your little modem box now, you can look and see how much is the bandwidth on there. So this is your Wi-Fi will be faster than any of your mobile network that you have. All right. And if you manage to get Wi-Fi 5, which is the highest Wi-Fi, it's going to be 1300 megabits per second. All right. Cool. So on here, you are to answer which of these have the highest bandwidth, and that would have been 5G. Okay. So just to look at some real life activities that we actually do on the internet. So if you're making a video call, right, it is going to use up 1.5 megabits per second. So imagine if you have just 3 megabits per second as your bandwidth and two people trying to make a phone call. The phone calls are now going to start logging, right? Because you only have 3 megabits per second. To listen to an online radio takes just about 0.2 megabits per second. That's only about 200,000, 200K. To watch a video online, a basic quality video, I mean, a Jake and Rosalie video will use up 0.5 megabits per second. Watching, however, a 1080 pixel video online is going to take 4 megabits per second. But watch this. If you decide to watch a movie online, which is in 4K, it's going to use 25 megabits per second. So if your little Wi-Fi is 4 megabits per second, this movie is not going to load. It's going to buffer.
I can watch hundreds. Well, no, multiple at one time.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, any question about that? Everybody's happy with that. Okay. So which activity uses the least amount of bandwidth? Which of these?
Checking emails.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So now here's an activity for you. You're going to just put an X beside the one that you think is light, the one that is using medium in terms of bandwidth, and the one that is going to require high bandwidth. All right, let's check your answers and see if you have them. All right. So social media is really medium. Online gaming, not talking about things, small games that, big games. That's going to be high. Emailing regularly is going to be medium. Simple reading the news is light. Uploading a video, yeah, is definitely going to be high. And of course, checking the weather is light. All right. Thumbs up if you got all them right. All right. Most of them right. DeAndre, not get none of them right?
Sir, I get them right. I'm just not answering.
Oh, you avoid me. Okay, all right, cool.
No, sir. It's not like that.
Students, I'm a malice me, we can't believe this. All right, so we have 6 minutes. I look at the example. Let's see how much. Let's see how much we can answer. January 2025. Let's see how much we have. Let's see if we have straight A profile. By the way, guys, I don't do grade ones and I do straight A profile. It's just want to let you all know that. You know, we don't do it gotta be straight A profile.
So I have to finish this SBA first.
Oh gosh. What are you guys seeing on your
Up to
screen?
you.
Are you seeing left exam question? Or are you seeing wireless something? Which one is it?
Repeat, sir.
May I try to figure out what is on your screen?
Oh, exam something, sir.
Oh, you did not say exam question.
Yes, sir.
Oh, let's put it back up. All right. 5 minutes of question and answer. I can't do this, you know. How can you something there? You know, something blind.
Sir, you have glasses.
No, I'm blind. I look for this something more if you put it something on full screen and now. Can't find it. Literally can't find it. No, this is horrible. Looks like Jadid out there pray for me, pray bad prayer for me.
What, sir? Why you always me? You and Colton have been arguing
It's
over.
always you.
You
It's
and
always
Colton have
you.
been arguing over football teams and everything. Why Colton can't pray bad prayer for me? Why me always in the pandemic light? Why me?
I don't know.
I'm just
All right.
existing.
That's the point.
Oh, me sure say I'll win their class. I saw your teacher pick by enough.
No. My
Seriously.
teachers actually leave me, except for one. My teachers actually leave me alone, okay? They don't talk to me. They just walk. Yeah.
All right. Me is not so nice. I'm sorry. I'm gonna look for a question that is relating to what we've done today. Oh, that's Excel. Guys, so exam easy? I can't believe. It's so easy. Oh, that's database. Really? So where is the bit on Wi-Fi and on the internet? Okay. All right.
Sure,
You know what?
sure it's not the actual exam you're showing us right now, sir. Just asking based off previous encounters.
Yeah, I don't work at CXC, so I wouldn't mind if I had it. I would just give it to you guys. Trust me, I would. Right? So
It's not too late to start working there, sir.
I used to. I helped to write. I helped to write the curriculum for digital media, animation, and game design.
Well, sir, I'm pretty sure they take it back. Just go apologize for anything that you did. Just
Didn't do anything actually. I just
then
left.
ask back for your job and let's go through that IT CSEC paper 1 and 2. Let's do this, sir. Let's go. Please.
Probably should. All right, let's do some Excel quick questions and then we call it a day. So this is Their question, they said, Vashan has started his clothing boutique and needs an application to manage the finances of the business. A spreadsheet has been chosen to create the following file. State the function which could be used to determine the number of t-shirt types in the spreadsheet document. What function? What function would you use to determine the type? Guys, seriously?
Sir, would you use some?
Which one?
Some?
They want to know the type. Look at the word determine. Only one thing can be the answer if they use determine in the word, you know. Determine the type, and they're asking for function.
If, sir?
Duh! It can't be some. It can't be some. It can't be average. What's going on?
Sir, it's Jadi's fault, sir.
Tripping. All right, same thing. The appearance of the spreadsheet document helps users to understand the data presented. Name 3 numeric formatting features that can be used in the spreadsheet. So let's go back here. Numeric. Numeric type of formatting. Come on. Want to see us all? Look, no. Want to see?
Currency.
Currency is one. Why else you say? Look here.
Percentage.
Where's
Yeah.
decimal.
And
what? And decimal.
decimal.
Oh God. Let's go. Smooth. All right. So now they have an absolute one. The absolute addressing is needed to calculate the tax cost for each type of t-shirt in the boutique. Explain what the absolute addressing mean. What does the absolute addressing mean? This.
It means to move the filter to a different location, sir.
Nope. That are 2 marks. We can't lose 2 marks, guys. What does absolute mean again? Come on, guys. Absolute. The opposite of absolute is relative. Remember that when you have a relative cell addressing and you decide to copy something down, it changes the value. Absolute remains fixed. So absolute and fixed, synonyms, guys. Fixed. All right. So if you have to copy, the values remain fixed. So it is always going to multiply. So look at this one. Let's say there's a value at B13, right? It's going to move down because this is relative. It's going to go to B13, but it will maintain B4. Got it? Got it? Or do
Yes,
I need to
sir.
explain that? Do I need to explain that again? So on this side, we have a relative, and on this side, we have absolute. If you go back to their spreadsheet, where's B what? B4? What was it? B12, right? So let's go to B12. So B12 is somewhere down here, and they're multiplying B12 by B4. B4 is up here. So what is going to happen is that it is going to keep it at 17% and don't change. So when it gets here, it will multiply the 190 times that. Then it will go here and multiply this by this, then this by this, then this by this. If you didn't make it absolute, when you get to here, it would move down here as well and multiply it by 0. Then when you get here, it will move to this one as well. So absolute keeps it fixed. This is a fixed address that one wants to multiply. Is that good? One more, and then we're going to stop here. This one says, write the formula needed to accurately calculate the final cost of the travel t-shirt if tax is applied after discount. Now, this one is a formula and not a function. What do we need to calculate final? Let's read it again. If if the tax is applied after the discount. Okay, so what would be your formula to do that? What would you do? Price, discount, tax. Come start with equal. What would we do? Equal.
Yes, sir.
Then in this case, B12, because you would need to subtract the discount from the value, right? There will be equal B12 minus C12. And then after that, you would subtract the final amount, which is D12, give you that answer, because you need the tax cost. So first thing you're going to subtract from it is the discount cost. Then you're going to subtract the tax cost from that. And that will give you your final cost. We are going to stop here. On Thursday when we meet, our next session is going to be on Thursday. That is going to be my 10:30, your 5:30. Make sure that you're here and make sure you're on time, because I'm going to finish up network this week and then do some practice question for past people, so that on Saturday we will do algorithm. So if you're planning to skip class, make sure you're here, because we're going to be hitting the road with pseudocode. If you haven't started your SBA yet, make sure you start the SBA. Let me check. Ashne, are you doing SBA at Westwood? Or are you doing SBA here?
I'm doing it here, sir. I already started the Excel one.
Fabulous. And make sure you carry on with database as well, and go right into start designing your website. All right. So we cover that as well. So you should be able to go on Wix and start working on that.
Sir, just so you know, I hate database with a passion, sir. Just so you know. So
Yeah, nice.
I don't think I'll be using this again. Ever. No.
Nice. You know that me get so bored of having to use Access that me build my own database. So me that me code my own database. You want to use mine? All right, cool. So yeah, cool. Regine.
Yes, sir.
Where are you doing your SBA? You're doing it at school. What school are you attending?
Marcus Garvey.
Which one?
Marcus Garvey, sir.
Marcus Garvey. Make sure you send me the SBA. Let me see how the SBA stay here. How's
Yes,
it
sir.
going, by the way?
Good, sir. We reach at the access part.
Okay. You complete Excel and what?
I complete